And I also request the talented artist of Bureau of Outreach and Communication to perform the sacred Vandana.
भारत में भर दे भारत में भर दे वीणा वादिनी भर दे वीणा वादिनी भर दे काट अंध उर के बंधन स्तर महाजननी ज्योतिर्मय निर्झर काट अंध उर के बंधन स्तर महाजननी ज्योतिर्मय निर्झर कलुष भेदतम हर प्रकाश भर कलुष भेदतम हर प्रकाश भर जगमग जग कर दे भर दे जगमग जग कर दे भर दे वीणा वादिनी भर दे वीणा वादिनी भर दे नव गति नव लय ताल छंद नव नवल कंठ नव जलद मंदरव नव गति नव लय ताल छंद नव नवल कंठ नव जलद मंदरव नव नभ के नव विहग वृंद को नव नभ के नव विहग वृंद को नव पर नव स्वर दे भर दे नव पर नव स्वर दे भर दे वीणा वादिनी भर दे वीणा वादिनी भर दे भर दे भर दे भर दे भर दे भर दे।
That was indeed a mesmerizing rendition. We extend our heartfelt appreciation to the artists for filling the air with melodic reverence by their soulful performance. I also thank all our esteemed guests for gracing the dais with their esteemed presence. Now, I invite Ms. Suman Preet Kaur, ISS 2024 batch, to present a sapling to Professor Rajiv Lakshman Karandikar, Chairman, National Statistical Commission. I would now request Ms. Simran, ISS 2024 batch, to present a sapling to Shri Adil Jainul Bhai, Chairman, Capacity Building Commission. I would like to call Ms. Agrima Rastogi, ISS 2024 batch, to present a sapling to Dr. Saurabh Garg, Secretary, Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation. I invite Mr. Lokesh Kumar, ISS 2024 batch, to present a sapling to Shri Shombi Sharp, UN Resident Coordinator of India. I would now request Ms. Payal Meena, ISS 2024 batch, to present a sapling to Shri P.R. Meshram, Director General, Data Governance, MoSPI. I would now request Mr. Manish Meena, ISS 2024 batch, to present a sapling to Shri K.B. Survade, Additional Director General, Capacity Development Division, MoSPI. Now I invite Mr. Nayandeep Gupta, ISS 2024 batch, to present a sapling to Dr. J.S. Tomar, Deputy Director General, NSSTA.
Thank you, everyone. Now, it is my distinct privilege to introduce respected Shri K.B. Survade Sir, Additional Director General, Capacity Development Division, MoSPI. He is an officer from 1993 batch of Indian Statistical Service. He has served in different ministries and departments over the last 30 years. To formally extend a warm welcome to this August gathering, I request Shri K.B. Survade Sir to deliver the welcome address.
Namaskar. Respected Chairman, NSC, Professor Rajiv Lakshman Karandikar, Chairman CBC Sri Adil Jainul Bhai, Secretary MoSPI Dr. Saurav Garg Sir, UN Resident Coordinator of India Sri Shombi Shah, DG Data Governance Sri PR Meshram, DG CS Sri NK Santoshi, distinguished guests, esteemed colleagues, dedicated officials of NSSTA, dear officer trainees, ladies and gentlemen. With immense joy and pride, I welcome you all to the 17th Foundation Day celebrations of the National Statistical Systems Training Academy. I extend a special and heartfelt welcome to the distinguished senior officials from the Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation, officials from other line ministries, departments, and eminent experts from the field of statistics and data science who have graced this occasion with their presence. Your presence adds great value to this momentous event. Today, as a gather here to celebrate this significant milestone, we are not merely celebrating another year in our journey, but reflecting on NSSTA's transformative journey, from its humble beginnings to its current structure as a cornerstone of India's statistical framework. NSSTA's evolution is a testament to the vision, dedication, and hard work of everyone associated with this institution. This Foundation Day serves as an opportunity to honor our past achievements and chart a bold course of our future. Since its inception, NSSTA has played a pivotal role in strengthening our nation's statistical capacity. Our academy stands as a beacon of excellence, nurturing professionals who form the beacon of evidence-based decision-making across all levels of governance. In an era where data drives progress, NSSTA's contribution to national development has been profound and far-reaching. One of the most remarkable aspects of NSSTA's journey has been its ability to adapt and innovate in response to the evolving need of our time. Our curriculum has been continuously updated to incorporate cutting-edge technologies while maintaining a strong foundation in a traditional statistical methodologies. This balance between innovation and tradition ensures that our trainees are equipped with the tools and knowledge to address the multifaceted challenges of today's data-driven world. The past year, in particular, has been a period of significant achievement. Our innovative training program have reached new heights, and our collaboration with national and international institutions have opened new avenues for knowledge sharing and capacity building. These accomplishments are a direct result of the unwavering dedication of NSSTA's team, whose dedication and expertise have been instrumental in making NSSTA's premier institution for statistical training. The theme for this year's Foundation Day, Empowering Governance Through Statistical Excellence, 17 years of capacity development and collaboration, perfectly encapsulate NSSTA's mission and vision. Over the year, the unwavering support of the MoSPI has been the cornerstone of our success. The Ministry's investment in infrastructure, technology, and human resources have enabled us to modernize our curriculum, enhance our facilities, and foster international collaborations. This support has been critical in ensuring that NSSTA remains at the forefront of the statistical training and capacity building. Looking ahead, we see both the challenges and opportunities. The data-driven world demands new approaches to statistical analysis and interpretation. Big data, emerging technology, data visualization, real-time data, and economic development, these are the just few areas where your expertise will be crucial. The Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation has consistently demonstrated its unwavering commitment to advancing our nation's statistical system, and its steadfast support has been cornerstone of NSSTA's growth and evolution. Our vision for NSSTA extends beyond national boundaries. Through strategic partnership and collaborations with the international agencies, we aim to position our academy as a global leader in statistical training. This ambition reflects not just our aspiration, but our responsibility to contribute to the broader international statistical community. The success of any institution lies in its ability to foster innovation while maintaining its core values. I call upon all stakeholders present here today to join hands in this endeavor. Let us work together to strengthen our collaborative networks, share best practices, and create an ecosystem that promotes excellence in statistical education. To our trainees, you are the heart and soul of NSSTA. You are not merely dedicated training officers, you are the future architects of India's data governance framework. Your enthusiasm and commitment to learning give us confidence that our statistical systems will continue to grow stronger and more sophisticated. As you participate in our programs, you are not just acquiring skills, you are becoming part of a larger mission to enhance evidence-based decision-making across our nation. Each one of you officials, faculty, staff, and training plays a vital role in advancing our mission. Your contributions, however small they may seem, are integral to the larger picture of the national development through robust statistical system. Before I conclude, I must express my sincere appreciation to the organizing team for putting together this meaningful event. Your efforts in making this event possible deserve special recognition to everyone present here. I wish you an enriching experience during the event. Let us move forward with a renewed enthusiasm and commitment, knowing that our work at NSSTA contributes significantly to building a more data-informed and prosperous India. Thank you, and once again, welcome to the 17th Foundation Day of NSSTA. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you so much, sir, for your warm and inspiring words. Now, we have with us Shri P.R. Meshram, sir, Director General, Data Governance, Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation. He is an officer from the 1992 batch of the Indian Statistical Service, who has been serving the Indian statistical system for over 30 years with vast and varied experience of working in different departments. I request Shri P.R. Meshram, sir, to address us on the topic, Evolution of Statistical Systems and the Academy's role in strengthening the systems. Please, sir.
Good afternoon, everyone. Respected Chairman, National Statistical Commission, Chairman, CVC, Secretary, MoSPI, United Nations Resident Coordinator of India, esteemed dignitaries, dear colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. It is my privilege to address this august gathering on the occasion of 17th Foundation Day of National Statistical Systems Training Academy, what we call in short as NSSTA. At the outset, I extend my heartfelt gratitude to all those who contributed to the establishment of this institute. The long-standing need for an institutional system dedicated to capacity building for stakeholders of the national statistical system was fulfilled today in 2009 with this academy coming into being. The humble beginning made 16 years ago have evolved into a landmark institution for capacity building within the national statistical system. Since its inception, NSSTA has played a pivotal role in enhancing the capabilities of statistical professionals across the country. From training ISS and SSS officers to fostering international collaborations, NSSTA has been a center of excellence in imparting knowledge on official statistics. Today, more than 4,000 trainees have been trained in this academy, ranging from ISS and SSS officers to officers of state governments, to university students to international participants. NSSTA has remained agile to the evolving needs and demands of the stakeholders and has been introduced several key advancements over the year in its functioning. Some of these will be like this. We have partnered with leading organizations such as UNCF, World Bank, UK ONS, to bring world-class training methodologies to our trainees. Through platforms like I Got Karma Yogi, we have ensured anytime, anywhere, any device learning, enabling officers to continuously upskill. A structured approach fostering analytical thinking and application-oriented learning has been introduced through project-based training. Our programs now include advanced data analytics, machine learning, and artificial intelligence to equip officers with contemporary analytical skills. The role of statisticians has evolved significantly in response to the vast expansion of data sources and analytical techniques. Statisticians today must demonstrate exceptional needs, exceptional speed, accuracy, technological proficiency, leadership, and ethical responsibility to provide timely and insightful inputs for policymakers. They must possess expertise in data management, machine learning, programming, ethics, privacy, and data visualization, alongside soft skills like critical thinking, business acumen, communication, and agile project management to fulfill their role in nation building effectively. Continuous skilling is essential, as different statistical roles like data analysts, data scientists, and data engineers demand specialized expertise. National statistical offices must adopt a dynamic and agile skilling framework that aligns with the ever-changing data ecosystem. In this regard, NSSTA has crucial role in both establishing and implementing such a framework to produce future-ready data scientists equipped to meet the expectations of Industry 4.0 and digital economy. As we embrace alternative data sources to supplement traditional surveys for more granular and frequent data, we must also address the inherent challenges. The greatest challenge lies in balancing the need and responsible use of data while ensuring privacy, data governance, and cybersecurity. As we progress towards a more data-driven society, NSSTA must lead efforts in training professionals on privacy preservation and ethical data uses, thereby maintaining trust in official statistics. Looking ahead, our collective responsibility is to build a statistical ecosystem that is resilient, technologically advanced, and globally benchmarked. I urge all stakeholders to collaborate with NSSTA in shaping the future of India's statistical system. Through our joint efforts, we will be not only enhance the credibility and utility of statistics, but also ensure that India's growth trajectory is underpinned by accurate, timely, and actionable insight. Here, I would like to make a quote by Mary Furlow, that is, success doesn't come from what you do occasionally, it comes from consistency. So let us move forward with renewed determination to make the Indian statistical system a global leader, driving evidence-based decision-making for Viksit Bharat 2047. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir, for your enlightening address. For the next address, we are delighted to have with us Sri Shombi Sharp, UN Resident Coordinator in India. He has devoted more than 25 years of his career to promoting inclusive and sustainable development internationally, bringing the experience he has acquired at the United Nations and externally to this new position. Within the organization, Mr. Sharp most recently served as United Nations Resident Coordinator in Armenia after holding several leadership positions at the United Nations Development Programme. He is a published author of works in health economies and was a United States Agency for International Development Policy Champion, as well as a nominee for the UNDP Administrators Award. We now welcome Sri Shombi Sharp to enlighten us on global perspectives on capacity building, unofficial statistics, and potential collaboration with NSSTA.
Thank you, Chairman of the National Statistics Commission, Chairman of the Capacity Building Commission, Secretary of MoSPI, DG and ADG and DDG of MoSPI, to all of you here in the room. It's a great honor, dear friends. मुझे National Statistical Systems Training Academy में आकर बहुत खुशी हुई. A real honor to be here and join you, address you on behalf of the United Nations family. आप सभी को UN परिवार की तरफ से मेरा नमस्कार. I think that, this day, this milestone represents not just 17 years of 17 Foundation Days, 17 years of the NSSTA, but also is a great testament to India's enduring commitment to strengthening statistical infrastructure, both here in India and in other countries. The very fact that this auditorium, this August auditorium, is named after, carries the name PC Mahalanobis, conjures up this great, important history. And I know, for me, as having been a student of economics, I was never a statistician, but I had enough exposure to statistics to gain a great reverence for the importance of statistical strength in systems. And I think that, obviously, the most mundane of analogies, you can say that, well, if you're, one leg is in 0-degree water and the other leg is in 60-degree water, on average, maybe that looks quite nice, but in reality, it really isn't. And humans, we are, by default, emotional people. So, humans might see a plane crash somewhere and say, oh, that's so risky, I'm not going to fly in a plane again, and then make the mistake of driving long distances, when in reality, statistics will tell us that's the most dangerous thing you can do. So we need good, accurate statistics as the compass to drive us in the right direction. And as society speeds up, as technology speeds up, our statistical compass needs to be more accurate and faster updated than ever before. The Sustainable Development Goals are obviously like a global roadmap, global KPIs that depend on good statistics. And it's therefore so important and so encouraging to see the very important strides being made here in India in terms of data access and utilization through the efforts of the government of India, through MoSPI, through the state statistical offices, in close collaboration with NITI Aayog, with line ministries, with various state-level departments, Capacity Building Commission, and many other entities. We see we are benefiting, obviously India is benefiting from a great amount of important data, household consumption survey data, improvements in instruments and periodic labor force surveys, and modernization of also India's administrative data that is coming out of these very large-scale Jan Andolan initiatives of the government, which are helping to drive really the path forward in view of such ambitions, in view of course, 2030 SDGs, and India's ambition for the SDGs, India's ambition for 2047, Viksit Bharat, and many others. So I think we in the UN are so privileged to be a partner in this, a humble partner in this amazing transformation and growth story. We have an MOU, a tripartite MOU with MoSPI and with NITI Aayog that allows us to really strengthen this collaboration and to help ensure that data, the new oil, as has already been said for quite some time, is not a great divider, as is happening in many parts of the world, but is a great uniter. And India, with its strength and diversity, there is simply no more important place to have this unity brought together by data. The SDGs, India's embracing of the SDGs is truly incredible. I've not seen a country which has operationalized the SDG framework to the degree with the SDG India Index across the country, leveraging this cooperative federalism. The dashboard, SDG dashboards that we've supported, worked with MoSPI on as well. The National Indicator Framework, also driving the conversation for the Global Indicator Framework update that is coming quite soon. And then so many exciting new areas of collaboration, non-traditional sources of data, again, so that we keep pace with the pace of society. Community-based monitoring, for example. We're looking at quality frameworks for citizen-generated data as well, tapping this incredible resource of 1.4 billion people in India and the greatest youth generation in history. No country has ever had so many young minds to tap for solutions ever in history. So, dear colleagues, with 5 years to go to 2030, we know that we are terribly off track. 83% of the Sustainable Development Goals are off track. We must accelerate more than ever to address climate change challenges. We see what's happening. India is very, very exposed to climate change impacts, poverty reduction. We see great lifting of hundreds of millions of people out of poverty here in India, gender equality, economic resilience in the face of unanticipated crises as well. And good, accessible, robust statistics are absolutely the key to building the trust, the public trust in governance. And this is true across the world. India is playing such an important role also at the international stage. We saw how India placed data for development at the center of the G20 presidency and the SDGs at the center of that. India has played and will play a very important role in bringing the Global Digital Compact agreed by the world leaders at the General Assembly last fall to life. And India's digital public infrastructure, world-class digital public infrastructure, is a key to serving as a conduit to making data come alive for the benefit of citizens. We're very pleased that India is again a member of the UN Statistical Commission, driving that global conversation on how to strengthen global statistical systems. Very proud that India is also joined the UN Committee of Experts on Big Data and Data Science for official statistics as well. So all of this, I think, shows to India's influence in the global statistical community and this great opportunity to bring the story and the views of India to the global stage, also for the benefit of other countries. We participate also with South-South cooperation initiatives of India, capacity building. Their community also very, very important, and we have a brand new partnership with the Ministry of External Affairs on amplifying India's South-South cooperation, technical cooperation for the benefit of other countries as well. So to conclude on this 17th day, let me just recommit the United Nations system to being a partner, a humble, trusted partner with you, with India, with everybody here in the room on this incredible growth story, and looking forward to 2030 and looking forward to 2047. Bahut bahut dhanyavad.
Thank you so much, sir, for broadening our horizons with your global perspective. On this occasion, we are honored to have Dr. Saurabh Garg, Secretary, Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation. He is a 1991 batch Indian Administrative Service Officer of the Odisha cadre. Sir previously served as Secretary of the Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment, focusing on policies for vulnerable communities. As the Chief Executive Officer of the Unique Identification Authority of India, Sir led the team for strengthening the technology stack of the Aadhaar ecosystem. His past roles include positions in the Ministry of Finance, Government of India, where he played a key role in the direct benefit transfer programs and foreign direct investment policy formulation. Sir was on a secondment as an advisor at the World Bank in Washington, D.C. Sir holds a PhD from Johns Hopkins University, an MBA from IIM Ahmedabad, and a BTech from IIT Delhi. Now, it is my privilege to request Dr. Saurabh Garg sir to provide insights on India's statistical strategy and future priorities. Please, sir.
Professor Karandikar, Shri Zainul Bhai, Shri Shombi Saab, my colleagues DG Meshram and Mr. Santoshi, members of the Statistical Commission, Dr. Sunal Desai, other researchers, my colleagues from the ministry, and the young ISS officers who are under training in this institute. Though it's the 17th Foundation Day of NSSTA, but perhaps capacity building to statistics is now nearly 100 years old in India with the formation of the Indian Statistical Institute in 1931. And I think that reflects the depth of capacities that have been built over the past 100 years in statistics, which also I think indicates in the kind of surveys that we do over the past more than 75 years. We just celebrated 75 years of the National Sample Survey, which also reflects the work that all of you have done over the past many years, and including and all of your predecessors. The NSSTA also participates in this important International Statistical Education Center run by the ISI Kolkata, and they have a partnership, and I think they have a number of other partnerships, including with the UN SCAP, where people are coming for courses out here. So I'm sure the kind of training, the kind of exposure that both the faculty out here and other participants get is something which is worth talking about. I just want to mention a bit on what is the present environment, if I can put, for the statistical system, and going forward, what we would need to think of as we move forward towards a Viksit Bharat 2047. And I'm taking this opportunity because I think a lot of our senior officers from different divisions are here, and especially, of course, the younger officers, of course, here. The number one is, of course, the technological environmental change, which both offers challenges and opportunities going forward. The fact that we have a lot more innovations in data collection makes it all the more relevant for a lot more cost effectiveness and monitoring that is required to be done. Digitalization and e-governance initiatives are, I would say, a third area that we need to perhaps look at, and what we can work on it as we go forward in our statistical work. Over the past decade, now we have a number of unique identifiers. We have Aadhaar, we have GST, we have PAN, we have Udyam. And I think this also offers a lot of challenges and opportunities, especially for integrating data from different databases, and therefore getting some more analysis, and which will help decision making. Alternative data like mobile data, scanner data, nightlight data are another source which we have yet to fully integrate in our work, but I think that's another area of work going forward. User expectations are also increasing. Everyone wants the data yesterday. It's high frequency, and the insights that can be drawn that are increasingly becoming even more important. And of course, one area that we recently had a discussion on is the possible decline in response rates, especially in certain categories. I'm sure all of you are aware the kind of issues that UK is grappling with in its labor force survey, and I think that we need to be cognizant of as we go forward. Why I'm just mentioning these is this is something that we need to take into account going forward, and I'm sure the work in NSSTA will help us to think on each of these strategies. Not to say that we haven't done work. Administrative data sources, that is something one of our focus, how to strengthen the coordination across the ministries. We have already circulated a revised national data structure, and we are working with the ministries on having the common identifiers in the databases so that that is something that can help us as we move ahead. GST data is something, how we can enhance GDP calculations and enrich that. That is something which is a work in progress. Going forward, collaborations would increasingly become important. We're doing a number of data users conferences. We've done, I think, more than 8 or 10 over the past year or so. And having brainstormings, we did one on treatment of free items under PDS. Just last week, we did one on how to measure the knowledge economy better. A few weeks back, on the digital economy, there was a work done. Informal sector coverage, how to improve. And these user data conferences, I think, open up opportunities for collaboration, which will increasingly become important as we move ahead. Alternative sources of data, I mentioned one, e-commerce data and CPI compilation. I think that's, again, a work in progress. The kind of research proposals that have already come, some from IIT Kanpur, IIIT Delhi, and others that we are working on, I'm sure will throw up more ideas and more work on how to integrate alternative data, administrative data with the work. A lot of work all of the different divisions have done on increasing the frequency of statistics. I think in the last 1 year, the number of surveys that we've been able to release has been due to the fact that we have cut down the time taken for between survey and the results. Going forward, we'll soon have monthly labor force indicators, we'll have the quarterly ASUs, and of course, the annual AAAC, which we hope to start from next year. And I think these are all keeping in view the environmental changes that are coming up, and district level data, which is what I think the surveys will enable us as we go forward. The engagement with the states is one important area that we are focusing on, and I think that's a lot of the states have responded, and we see a lot more interest in the states that how they can develop state-level indicators, state-level statistics, and of course, district level. And within all this, one area that we have to keep in mind is quality assurance. We can't have any issues on quality, and I think that's something that a separate division now is focusing on quality, and I hope to see results as we move ahead. And given our focus on ensuring that data is available for policy making, I think are the efforts in dissemination of data. The e-Sankhiki e-Sankhiki portal already has 134 million records now. WPI has already been onboarded on e-Sankhiki, and I'm sure we'll get more and more other ministries' data also onboarded into this. Statistical literacy is, I think, as important as the dissemination part. I think we've seen a number of advertisements. Radio jingles will also start. And working papers, I think 5 or 6 we have published, published internally and circulated to ministries, which are helping to sharpen the focus on policy changes, and I think the budget is also reflecting some of those issues. So going forward, I think these will remain our priorities in terms of blending survey and administrative data, automating the production processes even more than what we are doing, how to incorporate chatbots. Some work has started already in having AI-enabled chatbots into our CAPI. data science capabilities. I think the number of courses that we have started doing with the help of the CBC is something that is work in progress. And NSSTA plays an important role in that. Predictive analysis is something, I think that is an area that I think people have started working on, but I think that's an area we'll have to give greater focus on, improving the cutting edge functionalities of our portal, because we need to be ensuring that data availability for policy making and researchers, and of course the strengthening of the statistical systems of the state. One other opportunity that has come up and is the fact that now we are a member of the UN Statistical Commission, and that gives us an opportunity to play a leadership role in the international statistical community. And that's something we are working with the UN Resident Coordinator's Office in India, and of course with the UN Statistical Commission. So I just wanted to lay this out because it's an opportunity to address all of you out here. All of you are aware of this. We have been discussing this on a regular basis, but I think it helps to also just collate our thoughts on what we need to do as we move forward. We've been working very closely with the Capacity Building Commission to ensure that we make full use of, and the kind of work that we did in the National Learning Week, that was extremely useful. And of course, we continue to work with the different international organizations, along with the UN and others. So all I can say is that to the young ISR officers who are here today, that it's a wonderful time for you to be a part of the data ecosystem, because that's only going to get more critical as we move ahead. And I think as long as we keep innovating, as long as we keep open to ideas, and as long as we continue to build partnerships, I'm sure we will continue to develop further. So thank you all for coming, and it's a pleasure to be out here. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your visionary address. Your perspective will undoubtedly serve as guiding principles for our continued progress in this domain. As we move further, we are privileged to have with us Shri Adil Zainul Bhai, Chairman, Capacity Building Commission. He is known as one of the world's foremost management consultants, retired as Chairman of McKinsey & Company India after 34-year career. Prior to returning to India in 2004, Sir led the Washington office of McKinsey & Company and founded the Minneapolis office, helping clients across sectors as diverse as telecommunications, consumer electronics, energy, banking, infrastructure, and healthcare. Sir was the chairman of the Quality Council of India from 2014 to 2022. A native of Mumbai, Sir holds an engineering degree from Indian Institute of Technology, Mumbai, and an MBA from Harvard Business School. We now invite Shri Adil Zainul Bhai to speak on collaboration and the role of NSSTA in strengthening the vision of CBC.
Thank you. Dignitaries on the table, I won't go through everyone's names again. You're all familiar with them. It's a pleasure to be in such esteemed company. I'm delighted to be here because I've had a lot of interaction with the ministry and NSSTA. And I only want to make 3 points today. Not the first point is, this is an amazing institution. You were set up 100 years ago doing statistics, and it was founded by a world-famous polymath and a world-famous leader in this. My only advice as we look forward is I would encourage all of you to spend a little less time looking back and a little more time looking forward. Okay, so my first point is, and especially since we have the class of 24, when we talk about Viksit Bharat 2047, you all will be at the peak of your careers at that time. We'll all be gone by that time. You all will be at the peak of your careers. And what should you be doing so that you bring India to that point? Okay, that's what I want to talk about. And what should NSSTA be doing, and what is their role in doing it? So first, I'd encourage you to look forward. And the three priorities in looking forward, which I think are very, very relevant, Secretary talked about them, the UN coordinator talked about them, but I want to re-emphasize and really stress are speed, technology, and being useful to the country. Okay? Let me talk about each of those very quickly. Anything you do today, any process that you follow today, any end product that you bring out today, you will need to do it in 1/10 the time. That is the pace at which the world is moving today. That is what we are being allowed to do. It is no sense saying we do this survey and it takes this long because that's how we have always done it. You have to be able, if you want to serve the country to reach where we want to go to, you will have to think of new ways to do all of this in 1/10 the time. And I think Secretary mentioned it. I'm just stressing it really hard. So number one, can you do everything in 1/10 the time? Okay? The rest of the government wants things from you really fast. I'm very happy that many of your surveys are coming out much faster, as you mentioned. Many more are happening. But honestly, the pace at which things are moving, you have to move really, really, really fast. So that's the first point I want to make under look forward. Second point that I'd like to make in looking forward is the pace of change of technology is so rapid that you all have to embrace it. This is coming from everywhere, including from Honorable Prime Minister, who has said we should be a technology-forward country. We should be thinking about where we can take the lead and how to apply all technologies going forward. I think when we talked about the capacity building plan of MoSPI a year ago, Secretary, I think it was before you, but I think Tomarji was here at that time. In a room filled with your senior-most officers, I asked the following question. It was only a year ago. How many of you have used AI and use AI every day to do something useful? No, I'm not asking. I said I asked all your senior officers. I will ask you also, but in a second. And the answer was actually less than 5%. Okay? Today, I don't think that's the case, and you're moving forward on it. But I think you cannot be behind in technology. I was at University of Punjab the other day talking to graduate students and undergraduate students. And in an auditorium of 500 people, I asked them how many of them had taken 3 to 4 hours of training on artificial intelligence. Less than 10%. And the comment I made was, you have already fallen behind. You have already fallen behind. So you better make up, not forget about getting ahead. You've fallen behind. And I would ask all of you, including the class of 24, the same question. Are you ahead of everybody else in technology? Is that how you're thinking? I don't think you all are pushing your seniors to embrace technology the way you should. I learned AI from my 11-year-old granddaughter. Okay? I think our younger folks are better at this. They grew up with it, and she watches me do something, and she gets so frustrated that she grabs the phone from my hand and says, Dada, you don't know how to do this. Let me show you how to do this. And, you know, she is better. They are just better. Now, we don't have 11-year-olds out here, but we have the class of 24. Right? You all are the youngest. You all are the most technology savvy. Why aren't you pushing everybody else to get the very best of technology and use it in a way that makes all of this better so that we can go faster, etc.? So that was my first point. My second point is that the scale, I really think you should not think only about statistics, you should think about data. The amount of data being created every day in 2025, in 2024, in the last 3 months of the year, the world created more data than existed ever before. The collection of all data that was created before that, we created more of that in the last 3 months of last year, right? That is how much data is being created. And are we using it creatively? Are we using it in the appropriate way? Who else but MoSPI should be taking the lead in understanding these new sets of data that are coming out and how to use it? Okay, so that's the second point that I want you to think about, which is the amount of data is huge. It's going to get bigger. Are we really thinking about how to use it? Or are we still stuck on the way we did it and the data that's coming out of the past? If we do that, we'll fall behind. And the third point that I want to raise, which is of particular interest, I think, to NSSTA, is you all have a fantastic academy. You all teach people a lot of things. But in a sense, your audience is not the ISS. Your audience is the entire government of India. There are 3 million central civil servants in India, 22 million at state, and 5 million at urban local bodies and panchayats. Okay? What are you doing to make sure that this 28 million people, I haven't counted it right, so statistically don't correct me. What are you doing to make sure that these 28 million people understand data that is being generated all over, all around them and with them? Are you teaching them how to use that data, how to understand that data? The good news is I think you all have started. With a lot of pushing and a lot of leadership, MoSPI and NSSTA have come out with some digital learning tools on IGOT, which are being taken by not, I forget how big this class is. How big is the class? Not just 30, 35 people who are here, not just, MoSPI has what, 8,000 people, right? 8,000? Not just the 8,000, but hundreds of thousands, right? And your challenge is don't just teach the hundreds of thousands, but teach the millions. And that is the challenge that is before you, and you should think about that as that is what you have to do. So anyway, I will stop here, and I will just reiterate the 3 points that I made. Number one, look forward. Speed, technology, and usefulness. Number two, there is a huge amount of data being generated. What are you doing to understand that and bring that to life and use it in everything? And number three, instead of training 24 and 30 and 6,000 in the ministry, what are you doing to train the 28 million civil servants of India? Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for your thoughtful address, highlighting the role of NSSTA in strengthening the vision of capacity building and for motivating us to contribute proactively to achieve the goal of Vikasit Bharat. Moving forward, now I consider it as my highest privilege to introduce Professor Raju Lakshman Karandikar. Sir is the chairman of National Statistical Commission and holding the post of Professor Emeritus at Chennai Mathematical Institute. He is a former head of Delhi Center of Indian Statistical Institute and is a renowned Indian mathematician and statistician. Sir also served as director of CMI from 2010 until 2021 and is the fellow of Indian Academy of Sciences and Indian National Science Academy. He is widely known for his 3 decades of work on probability theory as well as applications of mathematics and statistics to real-world questions, and was awarded National Award in Statistics in honor of Professor C.R. Rao by MoSPI and S.S. Bhatnagar Prize by CSIR. Sir is a recipient of P.C. Mahalanobis Gold Medal by Indian Science Congress Association 2014. He has authored books on stochastic, calculus, option pricing theory, and white noise, just to name a few. Sir, I request you to please enlighten us on the continuous role of NSC to strengthen the capacity development endeavor. Please, sir.
I'll follow you. Dignitaries on the dais, dignitaries in the front, and the young statisticians in the back. So I will deviate from the title which has been announced and kind of continue what Shri Adil Bhai was talking and beyond that. Okay? Let's look at the future and the younger generation, the 24 batch and so on. Now, we have come a long way from 50 years or 70 years ago when what is statistics, what is data, what is its use for the rest of the crowd, to now everybody is talking about it. But it has gone beyond. if you have not yet been asked, sooner or later you will be asked, what has statistics to do with all this anymore? Once you have data, who needs statistics? I have been asked this earlier, and those who have not been asked will be asked this later. Data science will do it all, AI/ML will do it all, ChatGPT will do it all. Why do you need? You need to have an answer for that. Otherwise, we will all become obsolete. We would not be there, but the batch of 24 will still be there, and others will consider you obsolete. So you have to have an answer to such questions, that what is the role of statistics in the era of data science, ChatGPT, and whatnot. Okay? And the point is, each of you can cook up more examples and think about them, but there is no point denying the use of data science and ChatGPT and all that in day-to-day decision making. We all would use it. Those who do not use it are falling behind. But there is a difference between looking at the Google map, how to go there, and sitting in the driverless car, entering the thing and closing your eyes and sitting there. There is a difference. The difference is, here you look at it, apply your mind, and if it is obviously wrong, you can correct it. If you look at the Google map. Whereas if it is a driverless car where you sit, you say something, and you close your eyes and sit, very likely it will go to the right place, but when it goes wrong, the whole thing will collapse. So, recommendation system or a pointer system versus an inferential system, that is the big deal. And so somehow some statistics, I'm not talking about people here, but across the globe, some statistics experts, especially my generation and older, are denying that all this is nonsense. It is a fad. It will soon pass. Some others are saying that they are encroaching on our territory. It is nobody's territory. Anybody can think about it and use it, and they will use it, whether you like it or not. So we must apply our mind and see what is the best way to use it for our use, for the use of the nation, and whatever else, right? So the role of statistics and what all you are being taught or whatever you will learn is to make this difference. Okay? The tendency seems to be developing that data is data. Don't ask a question. How was it obtained? And that is where the start of the problem. Given any data, you must first ask, how was the data collected? Is it relevant? Is it all the relevant data? Is this data relevant? Does it apply to the population to which you want to use it for? For example, there is a question on all of India, and we just collect some data from people sitting in this audience. Will that be relevant? Answer is clear no, right? So just like that, also, what is the impact of a wrong decision? Just like I told about the Google Maps versus driverless car. If the impact is not less, there is some gain, the loss is minimal, we can use it. But if the loss is huge, we have to apply this mind. So each of you, the statistics books themselves may be full of various examples. They are called under nuisance, correlation, nuisance data, there's that. I want to leave you with one example and something which is real. You see, as mathematicians, I started off and I still continue to be a full-time academic mathematician. But if I start with suppose this, suppose this, suppose this, then you will close your eyes even before what is it that I am supposing, right? Or some challenging person can say, suppose not, then what you have to say, right? So I like it to make an example from real world. And well, even the youngest of you may not have been reading newspapers in those days, but I will come out with the stories from the 90s. Okay? Those of us who were looking at the newspapers those days may recall, there was on one hand, Sachin Tendulkar had entered the cricket scene, and he was launching centuries now and then, hitting centuries now and then, and Indian stock market was booming. And I distinctly remember more than 5 or 6 occasions when on Times of India there was front page, sometimes even a graph. I wish there were no phones then. I wish I could have taken a clicks and photographs and shown them. But yet another century by Sachin, Sensex crosses such so many thousand. Okay, and graph Sachin's centuries on x-axis and the stock market BSE index, those as NSE was not yet that popular, and nice upgoing graph. Okay, and what is missing is the one variable which is overall economy, and the year in which Sachin started playing cricket is roughly similar, around the same time that liberalization in India. So it's no brainer. Sachin being Sachin, he's continued to score more and more centuries. The number anyway cannot go down. And after liberalization, there was no way the economy could go down. So it was going up and up and up. So what this says is that just look, but if you feed in any data system, okay, these two arrows and say, are they related? The answer will be yes, they're strongly related. So you have to apply a mind. Whether the data is relevant to what we are asking a question, and are you missing some important variable? Okay, so that is where a statistician role is, and that, so the theorems and proofs, etc., are way of convincing you that if you think about it rightly, you will get a right answer. The thing is not that in your practice you must first see whether this theorem is proved by somebody or not. No. Okay, that should be teaching you what to think, how to think. Then you apply your mind to whatever you are doing. So let me stop here. Thanks. And thanks for changing my mind about what I was going to speak. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for a thought-provoking address. It is with great pride that we have now arrived at one of the most significant moments of today's celebration, the official release of the report of the Statistical Training Needs Assessment Survey. This survey, designed and launched by NSSTA in collaboration with CBC on 28 November 2024 in the presence of the Secretary MoSPI and the Chairman CBC and over 100 officers from across Pan-India. This survey consists of questionnaires to assess individual as well as team skills level and training priorities of ISS officers. The survey report provides actionable insights into developing a tailored training strategy that not only addresses current competencies but also fosters a culture of continuous learning. The findings underscore the importance of strategic planning in designing focused training modules that address core areas such as advanced statistical techniques, IT tools, and effective communication while fostering interdisciplinary competencies. I now request all the respected dignitaries to come in front of the dais to officially release the report of Statistical Training Needs Assessment Survey of NSSTA MoSPI. Please, sir. Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you so much, all the respected dignitaries. As we draw this enlightening inaugural session to a close, it is only fitting to express our sincere gratitude to all those who have contributed to making this event a success. May I now invite respected Dr. J.S. Tomar, sir, Deputy Director General, NSSTA MoSPI, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Very good afternoon, all. Respected Professor Rajiv Lakshman Krandikar, Chairman NSC, Sri Adil Janulbhai, Chairman CBC, Dr. Saurabh Garg, Secretary MoSPI, Sri P.R. Mesram, sir, DG Data Governance, DG C. Santoshi, sir, Mr. Sompi Sarp, UNRC, and ADGs, my ADG Capacity Development Division, as well as other ADGs, as well as NSC members from NSA Secretariat, as well as we have the Director of Government Institute of Medical Sciences, as well as Director General from Central Detective Training Institute, MHA. We also have with us Mr. Amarjit Sinha, sir, former IS, Abhishek Chandra representative, as well as Amandeep Kapoor, Madam Sonalde, and all the distinguished guests, media personnel, and my dear friends. As we come to the close of this inaugural session, being a DDG of this institute, I want to express my sincere thanks to each one of you. As today we are celebrating the 17th Foundation Day of NSSTA, we acknowledge not only the achievement of this academy, but also the collective efforts of individuals as well as organizations that have made this journey remarkable. First and foremost, I extend my heartfelt thanks to Professor Raju, Chairman NSC, as well as Sri Adil Janul Bhai, Chairman CBC, for gracing this particular event with their presence. And particularly their words of inspiring way forward is very insightful, that definitely going to be enforce the importance of statistical excellency in empowering the governance. Let me extend my sincere gratitude to my secretary, Dr. Saurabh Garg, sir, for his leadership as well as support in advancing statistical excellency. Sir, your vision has been instrumental in shaping the NSSTA journey, as well as going forward the different activity of this NSSTA Academy that will remain at the forefront for capacity building. My special thanks to Mr. Sompi Sarp, the UNRC. He accepted request of NSSTA to join this particular 17th Foundation Day, and today's he shared many insights for the collaboration, and we are keen as a training academy to work along with UN agencies. Let me express my heartfelt thanks to my DG, Mr. P.R. Mesram, sir, because DG sir constant encouragement as well as invaluable support towards the growth of NSSTA. Sir, your dedication to strengthen the statistical capacity has been a cornerstone of our success, and we deeply appreciate your commitment, your support, sir. Let me express my sincere thanks to ADG Sri Kishore B. Survade, sir, ADG of this division, for all kind of support to make all the events very successful. And my sincere gratitude thank to all the seniors present here for gracing this particular occasion. And special thank to all the partner collaborators like we have from NIFM, GIMS, and other institute people also for their support, collaboration, that going to be play a very well role to make our vision and activity more fruitful for the public at a large. And I also want to express my heartfelt thanks to media personnel and Mr. Samrat as well for their presence and coverage of this particular event. I would also like to extend my gratitude to NSSTA officers, young probationers, and other members who organize this event, inaugural session and technical session and other activity. They very much involve in meticulously for all the minutely activities to make this event very successful. And finally, let me thank all who directly or indirectly contributed for this event, IT team, catering team, KL Bhavan administration team, as well as CPWD, because for this nice flower decoration, electric, civil, all they supported us. And especially thank to the cleaning staff of NSSTA for their contribution. And let me thank everybody who present here. As we conclude this celebration, let us carry forward the spirit of collaboration and excellency to achieve the vision of Viksit Bharat 2047. Thank you one and all, and have a good rest of the day. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Thomas, sir, for your gracious words of appreciation. This event stands as a testament to the collective efforts of all those who have dedicated their time and expertise to its success. As we conclude this enlightening session, I am reminded of the Professor P.C. Mahalanobis, who envisioned a nation where statistics serve the greater good, and through NSSTA, we carry forward his legacy. This Foundation Day is a testament to the efforts of NSSTA to empowering governance through statistical excellence, fostering capacity development and collaboration. With this, we conclude the inaugural session of today's proceedings. We now request all our esteemed guests on the dais to please head forward for the inauguration of the hostel block reception, and I request all the respected officials and attendees to please proceed for the tea. Tea will be served at open lawn, and we kindly request everyone to reassemble promptly as we have a stimulating series of enlightening presentations awaiting us in the upcoming technical session, which will begin shortly. Thank you so much.
officer trainees, and distinguished guests. I am Yogesh Kumar, an officer trainee of the Indian Statistical Service 2024 batch, and it is an absolute honor and privilege to stand before you today for this technical session on the occasion of the 17th Foundation Day of the National Statistical Systems Training Academy. This year is particularly special as we celebrate a monumental milestone, 75 years of the National Sample Survey. For over 7 decades, the NSS has been a cornerstone of evidence-based policy making, empowering our nation with reliable and comprehensive statistical data. This milestone is not just a testimony to the service, but a proud achievement for the nation as a whole. Additionally, today marks 17 years of NSSTA's dedication to capacity development and collaboration, shaping the Indian Statistical Service into a pillar of evidence-based policy making. The theme for today's celebration, Empowering Governance through Statistical Excellence, 17 years of capacity development and collaboration, beautifully encapsulates the role NSSTA has played in advancing the use of statistics for informed decision-making across governance structures. NSSTA has always emphasized the importance of continuous learning and capacity building. To achieve this, it has actively collaborated with various prestigious institutions through MOUs and exchange programs. These collaborations ensure that officers receive world-class training in diverse statistical and governance-related domains. Apart from premier institutes, recently, NSSTA has signed an MOU with Arun Jaitley National Institute of Finance Management, strengthening its commitment to enhancing financial and statistical literacy among officers. These partnerships facilitate cross-learning exposure to global best practices and interdisciplinary training, ensuring that ISS officers are well prepared to tackle emerging challenges in governance and policy formulation. Through these initiatives, NSSTA continues to evolve as a premier training institute, ensuring that officers contribute effectively to evidence-based policy making and governance excellence. Before we begin, I request everyone to kindly keep their phones on silent mode and enjoy the session. Vidya Dhanam Sarvdhan Pradhanam, Arthat, knowledge is the greatest wealth. Today's technical session will bring insights from eminent experts in governance, statistics, and policy making. We are privileged to have with us a distinguished panel of speakers who will share their perspectives on the significance of official statistics, intergovernmental collaborations, capacity building, and institutional synergies. We would now like to extend a warm invitation to our esteemed speakers to kindly join us on stage and take their seats as part of the distinguished panel for this session. The speakers are Shri Amarjit Sinha Sir, former Secretary, Ministry of Rural Development, Government of India. Shri Ramendra Chaudhary, representing Shri Vijayendra Sir, IAS, Special Secretary, Government of Tripura. Dr. Sonal De Ma'am, Professor, Center Director, National Council of Applied Economic Research, New Delhi. Dr. Amandeep Singh Kapoor Sir, IPS, Director, Center Detective Training Institute, Jaipur. Let us welcome them with a huge round of applause. As a token of our heartfelt appreciation, we have arranged mementos for our esteemed speakers. I now invite Ms. Swati Gupta, ISS 2024 batch. Please come forward to present the memento to Shri Amarjit Sinha Sir. Huge round of applause. I now invite Mr. Prakhar Gupta, ISS 2024 batch. Please come forward to present the memento to Dr. Sonal De Ma'am, Desai Ma'am. I now invite Ms. Janvi Patel, ISS 2024, please come forward to present the memento to Dr. Amandeep Singh Kapoor, sir. As we begin, our first speaker, Shri Amarjit Sinha sir, needs no introduction. A veteran bureaucrat with vast experience in governance, sir has served as Secretary, Ministry of Rural Development, Government of India. His contribution in the fields of rural development, education, and social sector policies have been exemplary. Today, sir will be sharing his thoughts on official statistics, use cases for decision making. I now invite Shri Amarjit Sinha sir to take the stage and enlighten us with his knowledge.
Professor Karandikar, Saurabh, Secretary Statistics, my co-panelists, young and old friends, many familiar faces in the hall here, many of you with whom I've had a chance to work at various points of time in my official career. Let me salute the Institute, and I deem it a real privilege and an honor to be here when you are celebrating 75 years of the NSS. I was just reflecting that after 41 years in government and 75 years of NSS, I can say that at every stage of my career, I've had the occasion and the requirement to look at what the National Sample Survey says. I'm a very privileged civil servant who only got to work in sectors that he's fond of: education, health, and rural development. And let me tell you, in each of these sectors, your colleagues and their work enlightened us on what we should do. What I'll do in this brief 10 minutes, I'm not very good at keeping time, so somebody will have to tell me when my time is over. In this period, I'll just give you a few examples of how policy making is shaped in large measure by a lot of what these studies, what these statistics, what these statistical analysis and data tell us. Let me begin with the example of the Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan. I was very fortunate to be a member of part of the team which was designing it. And what did we look at first and foremost? We looked at the 42nd round National Sample Survey 1986-87. And what did it tell us? It told us something very shocking. It told us that 6+ females in rural India in 1986-87, not 47, in 1986-87, 69.23% 6+ females had never been enrolled in a school in rural India. This is NSS 1986-87, 42nd round. To make it very clear, an indictment of the neglect of primary education in the first 4 decades of development. We could do that with this data. And clearly, it set for us an agenda on what we need to do. Yes, other forms of research also help. And I was very fortunate to dabble in academic work along with my administrative work. I was a part of the public report on basic education, which Amartya Sen, Jean Drez, and others were also helping us to put together. And I must say that a lot of our findings were in consonance with what the 42nd round of NSS had said. I can give examples and examples. The 71st round NSS data, 2014, boys or girls, rural or urban, gross attendance rates are the same. Clearly, Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan had made some change as far as school participation is concerned. Boys or girls, up to class 8, they had started coming to the school. And what the NSS was saying was reiterated by the National Family Health Surveys as well. Learning outcomes still poor, but when it came to participation, something had changed. Girls had come to schools, vulnerable social groups had come to schools. So as a supply side Abhiyan, perhaps Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan had made a difference. We could say that by looking at the 71st round NSS. Then again, very fortunate civil servants get these opportunities. I got a chance to design the National Rural Health Mission thereafter. And there again, our guiding light were the NSS surveys. They told us what the out-of-pocket expenditures are on, and they are telling us repeatedly. It's a different matter that many a time we don't look at the evidence simply because we don't want to. Clearly, the evidence at that time was telling us from the NSS that doctors, drugs, and diagnostics account for majority, the substantive part of the out-of-pocket expenditure. Doctor, drugs, and diagnostics. Very clearly, very basic primary education needed to be the focus, and a lot of that was possible based on the analysis of some of these surveys carried out by the NSS at different points of time, the cost of primary care, the cost surveys on health, public facilities, private facilities, government costs, private costs, the morbidity, mortality surveys, they have all been guiding principles when we moved forward. And therefore, on your 75 years of NSS, I would only suggest to each one of you, do not give up the good work that you are doing. You must continue to pursue it with the same passion for evidence. Ultimately, truth triumphs, whatever we might try. And it's important that we realize this, the earlier the better. Even for policy makers, politicians and others, as the Hindi saying goes, Nindak niyere rakhiye, angan kuti chhawaye. You must keep the critic as close to yourself as possible. If need be, keep him in your courtyard. Then and then alone, you will not make mistakes that are likely to take you on a very different tangent. Friends, I can rattle examples and examples. And I moved on to the rural development sector. One of my colleagues we worked together, Gaya Prasad ji is here. We are all working on the housing program. And the 76th round NSS, which was published in 2018, we felt a little encouraged that things had improved in rural areas to some extent when it came to housing. I'm giving these examples because at every stage, for an independent assessment of where we stood, we looked at the National Sample Survey. If somebody wanted to critique the Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Program, two sets of researchers, Dr. Sukthankar, Dr. Clement Ebert, and John Papp, their studies on corruption in Mahatma Gandhi Narega were based on your NSS reports of public employment in a particular geography. What is it that the program was claiming and what is it that the NSS was actually confirming? And the gap between the two was seen as the leakage or the corruption. So in so many ways, not only in framing policies, but in also improving accountability in the system. It's always good to question, and ever since 1998-99, when the National Family Cell Health Survey also came in, and 5 of those volumes have come out, it gave us an additional tool to look at what works, what doesn't work, and what needs to be done differently. Clearly, both NSS, NFHS, for any serious-minded civil servant in policy making, he would be failing in her or his duty if they don't look at some of these gems which give you so much insight on what needs to be done and how we need to move forward. Likewise, if I could refer to specifics, the pro-poor public welfare, it has been a government's priority. A lot of work has gone into it, opening of bank accounts for women, immunization of children, life insurance, accident insurance, LED bulbs, electricity connections, Ujjwala connections. Your 78th round NSS looked at just some of these factors. And it really helps us to sift where we truly stand. It gives us an idea whether or not what we were claiming to have done has worked. I was fortunate that the Honorable Prime Minister assigned me the responsibility to coordinate the work of the Gram Swaraj Abhiyan, where we are trying to reach 7 of these benefits to every beneficiary in 63,974 purposively selected villages. What was common of these villages? They all had more than 50% scheduled caste, scheduled tribe population. They were really the poorer villages with a size of 1,000 in plain areas and 500 in hill areas. The 78th round NSS 2021 bears out that on many of these, the gains were substantive, but it also speaks a truth which it has been consistently speaking. We have done very well on sanitation from where we were, but we have not reached 100%. NFHS, 76th round NSS, 78th round NSS, all of them confirm that we are still away from complete 100% open defecation free in all rural areas. You look at the Mission Antyodaya data. I'm referring to different data sets. The Panchayati Raj and Rural Development Departments look at that data, and this data is validated by the community. The validated data from the community also brings us closer to the truth. Gains there have been in many sectors, substantive progress, but when departmental MISs claim what is not really the ground picture, either the NFHS or the NSS does find out what the ground reality was. So clearly, as a method of triangulation, the National Sample Survey has served a very, very useful purpose. Friends, in recent times, if I were to give some more examples, female labor force participation rates. While the debate can rage, but it's a fact that in recent years, 2017-18 onwards, from a 24% female labor force participation in rural India, we moved up to about 42%. While some say that this is a recognition and a formalization of women who are already working, but we also have from the NSS the data which says that in agriculture employment has gone up, that nano and micro small enterprises numbers have also gone up. Many of them may well be one-person enterprise, but it seems that credit has had some impact. When we look at this data from the NSS and try to understand it from the lens of the National Rural Livelihood Mission, where 100 million women across India are a part of the self-help groups and the women's collectives, and more than 50 million have a credit linkage, then certain things start falling in place. We are not saying that everybody has become rich overnight, but all we are saying that access to credit seems to have improved at the cutting edge level. Just as the ease of living improved with many of the things that I mentioned, bank accounts, housing, sanitation, and so on, perhaps even access to credit, and that shows in higher numbers for nano enterprises at the rural level, may not be very high economic activity. Because when you look at the, again, something which is published by your department only, the monthly per capita consumption expenditure, there are lessons there, clear lessons for all of us. And when you start looking at data, triangulated data from different sectors, it tells you a fascinating story. And let me tell you, I personally feel that all data finally turns out to be consistent with each other. If I could just bring it to your notice, we have been arguing for decentralization, but we are arguing it simply on the basis of our beliefs, of our ideologies. For the first time, the Reserve Bank of India in 2023, in its report chapter 9 on panchayats in India, did a detailed study on devolution index in every state, and then compared the progress on health, sanitation, and human development indicators. Very clearly, the RBI study establishes that if decentralization is high, achievements on human development are also better. Point number one. Point number two, if I read that along with the monthly per capita consumption expenditure data, it tells me the same story again. It is the same Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Himachal, Sikkim, and Goa, which have the highest per capita monthly consumption expenditures, a proxy for incomes. And these are also the states which figure in that list of decentralization leading to human development leading perhaps to higher incomes. And a fourth order correlation, why is it that private investments flock to these regions only? Why Tamil Nadu still gets a lot of the investments from the private sector for industry and manufacturing? Why does Bangalore and around that area, Hyderabad and around, is decentralization, human development, higher per capita consumption expenditures and private investments all going together? Now these are some of the correlations that we need to work on. And clearly, as statisticians, as very important functionaries of the state, it's your responsibility to stick to the evidence and nothing but the evidence. I am saying it repeatedly because, it's not easy to publish good statistics because many a time it stares at you in your face. They may well be collateral damages, but that's what it is about. Unless and until we are true to ourselves, the data that we have captured is the statistic that we will provide. And that is the approach which has sustained the NSS for 75 years. It must reflect the ground truth as closely and as nearly as possible. And that requires, therefore, as part of this training program as well, the importance of the evidence collected properly following all the possible care is important, because your data has value only if you can legitimately claim that you've done it in the right way. So it's important to be right on the methods as well. I'll conclude by saying these were offhand examples, but if I put all of it together, what your service colleagues have given the country is a basis to know where we are. And it's important for any nation to know where it is. If you know exactly where you are, then you know where you need to attend. We've done very well on many parameters. But there are other parameters where our challenges have remained. And when you start looking at the unit level data from many of these surveys, they tell you a more fascinating story. Currently, I am engaged in a study on a public report on secondary education. And one of the data sets, we were looking at all the data sets possible, the unit level household data, examination data, UDICE data. Again, something which is not widely known in the public domain. When we looked at a very simple thing, in the states, how many students appeared at the board exam, the higher secondary exam with science, physics, chemistry, maths, or physics, chemistry, biology. And the variation across states is shocking. We found that in Tamil Nadu and Andhra, about 69–70% kids, boys and girls, opt for science stream at the 12th level. You move towards West Bengal, it's barely 10% in government schools. Science stream is only 10% in government schools. You upgraded your schools, but you're only providing some social development or some social sciences subjects. Science options are not there. And we know the difference for employability between science education and non-science education on scale. Similarly, in Bihar and UP, about 35–40% are in the science stream. So I think some of the unit level analysis across sectors provides for a policy maker ideal ground to do an evidence-based intervention. And what we need most of all is evidence-based interventions whose outcomes can be measured, where we have elements of community validation, because if MISs of departments and ministries were real-time and were community validated, because technology is only a means, technology cannot be an end in itself. If it is only a means, we need to work towards an accountability framework that allows triangulation on a large scale. You have IT DBT payments, you have studies, you have social audit, you have financial audit, you have research studies, you have common review missions. Because that is what will ultimately help us to arrive at the truth. So clearly, there is nothing like data. Data is never perfect. Triangulation is a must. But having said that, maintaining the quality, consistency, and comparability across time periods, the strength, the 42nd round and the 52nd round NSS data on education gives us so many insights. There are similar rounds on the health side. That's what we go by. But yes, we have to be willing to be convinced by the evidence, and we'll be convinced only if your survey methodology is sound, if you follow methods which are absolutely ethically correct and ensure that what you provide us is actual gold mine to work for further improvement and for further moving towards the Viksit Bharat that all of us want to be in. Thank you very much for your patience. Thank you.
I extend my heartfelt gratitude Sri Amarjit Sinha sir for sharing his invaluable experiences on official statistics and demonstrating its critical role in decision making. Sir has quoted a doha which has a deep meaning. It means निंदा करने वालों को हमेशा अपने पास रखिए और उनकी मदद से अपनी कमियों को दूर करनी चाहिए. Sir, your valuable insights have greatly enriched our understanding of data-driven governance and practical applications. Thank you, sir. Next, I would like to invite Dr. Sonal Desai ma'am. Ma'am is a renowned demographer and social scientist, currently professor and center director at NCAER, National Data Innovation Center, New Delhi, and distinguished university professor emerita at the University of Maryland. Ma'am leads the Indian Human Development Survey, a landmark panel study tracking societal change in India from 2004 to 2024. A Stanford PhD and fellow of the American Association for the Advancement of Science, ma'am has served as president of the Population Association of America and contributes to key government committees on statistics and policy. Dr. Desai ma'am is widely published and a frequent contributor to Indian newspapers. Today, ma'am will be sharing her thoughts on importance of capacity development for producing and using the official statistics. I now invite Dr. Sonal Desai ma'am to take the stage and enlighten us with their knowledge.
Thank you for your very kind words and kind introduction. I'd like to carry forward the theme from the session number 1 and talk a little bit about the magical world of technology that we inhabit today. Let me give you an example. If you hear some of the recent economists talking about measuring with high frequency GDP growth rate, it would be hard to imagine doing that without the nightlight data. And we hear a lot about nightlight data. Okay? Hey, if that nightlight data might actually supplement CSO and reduce the pressure on CSO for very frequent GDP updation, right? That would be the hope. But can it really? In a few months following the demonetization, there was a paper that was put out using nightlight data by Geeta Gopinath, Prachi Mishra, and a number of other scholars, which argued that India's GDP as a function of demonetization has fallen by about 30%, roughly about 3.6 percentage points. Now, if you look back with an 8-year hindsight, it was clearly a painful time. Okay? There was clearly an impact on an economy, but perhaps it was more of a ripple than a tsunami. Okay? Whereas that particular paper generated headlines which talked about India's botched experiment with cash withdrawal and so on and so forth. So I was sort of trying to reconcile in my head, you know, what these nightlight data are telling us, what are we getting, etc. So I decided to do what I usually do, which is to call up friends. Okay? And I called up a friend who is a geographer in Columbia University, expert on remote sensing. And I said, okay, explain to me, where does this nightlight data comes from and how do we interpret it? Okay? And she went through a big explanation, but the one thing that I took out of it was that basically the nightlight data is coming from a geosynchronous satellite which measures the light intensity at local time 3 a.m. Okay? Now at 3 a.m., what are we measuring? Street lights, people's household lights, but surely not businesses or factories. Okay? So perhaps we are catching increased density, okay? But whether we are actually capturing increased economic activity remains questionable. Very recently, I saw a paper by a couple of scholars coming from New Zealand, which basically said that much of the analysis that's being done is looking at cross-national elasticities between luminosity and GDP. and the cross-national elasticities being imputed to the local area have serious drawbacks, and they sort of showed example for United States, China, and Indonesia, and showed that there is a heterogeneous relationship between urban areas and rural areas. Now, I'm actually a big believer in technology, so I do not want this to be an indictment of technology-driven data collection, analysis, or use. Okay? What it is a plea that we need to put in place sensible way of looking at data, integrating technology, and being sort of forward-looking. And I'd like to propose that a sensible approach will probably come with 4 different pillars. There may be many more, but here are the 4 I want to talk about. Okay? First, we clearly need to stay current with respect to new thinking and new innovation around the world. Okay? And that doesn't mean that we need to adopt it, but that does mean that we need to listen to it and critically evaluate it. And I think I'd like to congratulate MoSPI actually on putting together a number of webinars and workshops where one gets to hear some of the more innovative thinking. And perhaps that is an area where we need to invest more strongly. Second, we need to think about is future-proofing our data systems. Okay? In some ways, I think while I was thinking about what to say, it took me back to Mahalanobis's interpenetrative samples. Okay? That was a forward-looking thinking. Okay? And if we are to think about what would be a forward-looking approach today, then I think we just have to accept that there is going to be a massive amount of data linkages occurring across different domains from different sources, administrative data to household data, different sources of administrative data, and we need to put in place a data collection system that allows for the data linkages while preserving privacy. Okay? And there are some interesting examples of this being done elsewhere. For example, in the US, there has been a great attempt at linking census data with survey to be able to capture mortality. Okay? And US Census has developed algorithms around sort of personally identifiable identifiers, which get embedded so that the individuals are not identified, but you are able to do linkages across data systems. They have been used to study mortality. They have been used by people like Raj Chetty to study intergenerational economic mobility. Okay? So thinking about, what are the identifiers that can be used, how to sort of embed them in our data collection systems so that we can do some of these linkages is useful. I think, of course, there was an interesting amount of thinking that was gone around the local government directory ID, okay, which is supposed to be embedded in all the data collection, but frankly, I don't believe it's being done. Okay? So perhaps one of the simplest thing is that at least let's put in local government directory ID into every data collection that is being undertaken by Government of India. Third, I think that we must use technology to enhance what we are already doing. Okay? There are a lot of things that we are already doing, such as household surveys, and increasingly we are moving towards CAPI to do household surveys. But it sometimes feels to me like we are using our paper and pencil thinking into the design of the surveys that are being administered by CAPI. Okay? So it looks more or less like our paper and pencil surveys used to look. Instead of taking into advantage of sort of enhancements that a CAPI offers, such as branching, skip patterns, and so on and so forth. Very specifically, I think that the CAPI advantage in data quality monitoring could really be used much more strongly than we do. One of the things that really amazed me when I started looking at what we could do with it was to discover that you can actually, using CAPI, also look at backspacing. How many times your interviewer goes back to change the original data? Okay? How much time they spend on a specific item. Okay? So sort of thinking through that, using it to improve both training of interviewers and to monitor the quality of data collection would be a useful thing. So I think that there needs to be a little bit of a rethinking on how CAPI can be embedded in its we can take advantage of it instead of just carrying forward our old thinking into just a computerized. It's not like we used to handwrite and now we can type it in Word. We need to think about it quite differently. Okay? Finally, I think I'd like to make a plea that we should not let the technological dog wag the tail, okay? Or a technological tail wag the dog, but rather think about how it can be best used in what we are doing without enormous amount of defensiveness. Okay? I remember sitting through a meeting at one point in time. There was a World Bank team which had evaluated India's statistical system. They were talking to Niti Aayog as well as MoSPI and various other statistical systems. And one of the big comments that was being made was, MoSPI has schedules. MoSPI should have questionnaires. The difference between schedules and questionnaires is that you have basically this big grid-like schedules that everybody has seen. Questionnaires is where the wording is actually fully spelled out, and so that the interviewer will read it out exactly, so that one can have a standardized questionnaire, standardized way of administering the survey. The problem is this. We live in a country which has so many different languages and so many dialects that ultimately your interviewer is just going to have to do on-the-spot interpretation. Even when our survey instrument is translated into Hindi, interviewer is going to go and translate it while administering it into Bhojpuri, Maithili, Brij Bhasha, etc. Okay? And that is it's sort of basically the nature of India that is reflected in the data we are collecting. Now, actually, survey methodologies are not all agreed upon standardized survey methodologies. Okay? There are two schools of thought. One school of thought is on a standardized survey methodology. The other school of thought is around conversational interviews. Okay? And in fact, one of the things that we could be doing is to say, okay, we are going to develop data collection systems which are sort of very consistent with the kind of on-the-ground challenges that we face in India, and actually document it, write it up, disseminate it. Okay? So it just seems to me that there are a variety of ways in which we can both include technology, we can improve technology, we can critically evaluate technology. And I don't think we can do that without self-consciously developing a system in which it can be done. So for example, a research unit within MoSPI, okay, with a large number of collaborators and partners nationally and internationally might be a very good way of doing it. Okay? I think historically, Indian statistical systems have been sort of operating on a principle that we are the data collectors and others are the data analyzers. Perhaps it is time to rethink that, to say that, okay, we not only collect the data, but we also are the best people to interpret our own data. We are also the best people to innovate data collection methodologies, and let's focus on it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I would like to extend my heartfelt thanks to madam for highlighting the importance of capacity for producing and using the official statistics. Ma'am, your emphasis on 4 pillars of strengthening the official statistics system and creating the linkages between the different data set is surely a valuable suggestion. We'll go through it in order to build a data-driven and evidence-based policy. Ma'am, your pleas for guiding is a guiding light for us, and we thank you so much for sharing your insights with us. Now, I would like to welcome Dr. Amandeep Singh Kapoor, sir. Sir is an IPS officer of 2007 batch, born on Rajasthan cadre, and currently posted as director in Central Detective Training Institute, Jaipur. Previous postings as Chief of Police of 9 districts in the state of Rajasthan has skilled him in law enforcement and crime investigations, civic involvement, and community service in some of the most strife-prone districts of Rajasthan. Sir is a qualified medical doctor by education, and he is a postgraduate in data protection laws and cybersecurity from Nalsar, Hyderabad, and is certified in data analytics in criminal justice from IIT Kanpur. Sir is also a member of National Police Mission on Technology, and he has extensively written journals articles in famous newspapers like Indian Express and the Tribune. Sir has been decorated with the Police Special Duty Medal that is instituted by the President of India in May 2019. So we welcome you to share your insights.
Thank you so much. Professor Karantikar, Dr. Saurabh Garg, Secretary MoPSI, Amarjit Sinha sir on the dais, Dr. Desai on the dais, Additional Secretary ma'am, the DG, ADG, MoPSI, and DDG and NSSTA. Thanks for inviting me, the wonderful probationers and everybody in the hall. I begin with the mandate that has been given to me. And that mandate is that data governance is a whole of government exercise, and law enforcement agencies have a deep inroads and deep stakes into it. But before I begin, I'll just give a disclaimer. I was talking to Dr. Tomar, and he said when we were broaching this idea of collaboration, so when people thought of the term detective, so they became quite apprehensive what detectives are doing with the statistical organizations. So this, my institute that I had is a part of BPRND, and I'll use this snippet as an ice breaking for the perceptions that police generally holds. Till 60s or maybe little 60s, late 60s, IB was the main central organization, and police training for the central police officers was with IB. They established these central detective training institutes. Thereafter, BPRND is a 50-year-old organization, but somehow as the practice with names in India, whether on certificates or organizations, they just stick to it. And we have only in the 50 years able to convert it from a central detective training school to a central detective training institute. We have been saying that, just spare us this word detective, but, and that school to institute is also an interesting thing that people used to walk into our institute, ki hamare bacche ka admission kara do, thinking it's a police school. And as are the army schools and police schools, talk of the town, everywhere. So we had a tough time converting our town from school to institute. So just digressing a little, but coming back to the point. Why should NSSTA and BPRND? BPRND is my mother organization, that is Bureau of Police Research and Development, somewhat similar to what DRDO is to defense, BPRND is to police. And they have training institutes, they have research institutes, we do research activities, we do development, modernization, technology infusion, everybody is with BPRND. So as you can see, I intend to do collaborations in this data collating ecosystems that exist today. And I am here to give, just as I said earlier, law enforcement's perspective. So now, data and data science has been existing since ages. This organization, this ministry, is dealing with data science as the statistics or economics do since ages. Data has been food for thought, food for analysis, and food for development. Your organization's logo also say data for development. But gradually, as we move on to emerging technologies as a tool to capture data, so what is happening is that data also becomes food for intelligence, super intelligence, and general intelligence. Somebody may say, what's the problem with that? Let the collective consciousness take care of it. If one facet of the economy rises, let the other facets also rise. But here comes the point of view of a law enforcement organization or agency or person, that somewhere the information asymmetries creep in, biases creep in, and dangers of data, cartelization or monopolization creep in. So that way it becomes then a whole of a government exercise, that data governance I'm talking about, and the way we should all see it in the future. So LEA is obviously focuses on crime, law and order, delivery of services, but the last part I want to say is the disruptive pushes. And here, what Dr. Desai was also mentioning, we will like to focus on data quality. We like to focus on the data integrity. We like to focus on data privacy. And there we need some hand-holdings from organizations like NSSTA or similar ministerial approaches that we'll be focusing on. Templates of the policing in this age is because our institute, BPR&D, conducts National Security Perspective Program, a 3-day program for all probationers, and I've offered this time. Last year we had IRS probationers, a batch of 100 IRS probationers, and we gave them a national security module. And we talk about similar things that I intend to do, and I've offered that all of you wonderful probationers should visit and be sent to our organization as the Indian Postal Service in the IRS, IT, IRS, Customs, and there's a push from PMO and MHA that there should be, at least the national security perspective should be common across the table. And BPR&D is doing just that work for everybody. So this is the way we look at the policing in the digital age. Some things we can do it ourselves. We have already done this because not data is something difficult to handle. Police also has moved from legacy systems to cloud-based programs or some automations or some communications, better communications and data sharing. But as I said earlier, I'm more worried about the information asymmetrics. You're all economists or mathematicians, or you must be knowing these two wonderful Nobel laureates who gave this theory, Joseph Stiglitz and George Akerlof. So what they said was that whenever there's information asymmetry in the market, what you get is rotten lemons, and this causes the entire market to collapse or contract it into adverse selection of low quality products. So this is something we don't want for our data as it exists today, because I'll also be talking that data governance rests on data sets. And when data sets are not collected properly, the quality is compromised. Either the lack of data or the monopolization of data, both create asymmetries. And that is something we should be worried about, that they don't occur, both of things don't occur, and we have a semblance of sanity there. So how we remove asymmetries is to, at the cutting edge, there should be no contempt of new ideas, and at policy positions, there should be, at least the logic should not be fuzzy, there should be clarity in that. We do hackathons, conferences, workshops at our academies to basically embrace this point. And we have been embracing digital tools. This is something, if you want to have an outlook of what policing has been doing in this, we can share with you as well, like the AI and machine learning is into this. And when I talk about predictive policing, that's a very interesting point I'll make here at this forum. Predictive policing was one thing given to us by mathematicians. And predictive policing is one thing now the mathematicians are saying that it should be put a break on. I'll show you some photographs. This is the predictive policing exercises as it started in the New York and other areas of Los Angeles. There's the legacy of predictive policing in policing that came. And that creeped in a lot of biases into it, like on the basis of color and on the basis of other attributes, thinking that whatever machine says is the best thing we should understand. And then slowly, as you see on the Los Angeles Times had this news that many police don't think it works now, and why hundreds of mathematicians are boycotting predictive policing. So there, what I understand is, as Sinha sir also said, that here the accountability framework was not applied at the right time. So this is how we should understand that where the accountability frameworks in our data ecosystems, when we talk about the government, should be there in the right time at the right speed also. So this is something I was interested to broach you with. And this is the focus areas. I call it the new ABCD, the artificial intelligence, the blockchain, the computing, and the data governance. I'll be interested in the last part, the data governance. We have to, as Adil sir was saying, that the speed is the key here. So we have to be proactive here. We should anticipate what we want to do, invest in it, collaborate. And here we want to have some holding hands who can help us in understanding and collaborating on capacity building at one part and on new approaches on the other part. We have added now the MoSPI and NSTA into this list. We already have this, like CDT Jaipur already, or BPRND, our mother organization, is already in touch with all these organizations, and we want you also to be our worthy partner. And we want digital literacy as one part to be enhanced. This is the last slide I'm talking, and then I'll conclude my talk. So data governance, if you see, I'm sure you'll be aware that the act is there for the data privacy now. That act covers the personal data. For non-personal data, there's the National Data Governance Policy that is coming up. And incidentally, there's an annual DGIG conference chaired by the Prime Minister. He very presciently, he focused that the ministry should start working on that data governance policy, which deals with the non-personal data. Idea being that everything is now data set. Just I said that it's a powerful tool for growth, inclusivity, and the thing is that granular data sets, and this is what, just yesterday I read that Niti Aayog chairman said that, sir also mentioned, the data should now be collected at the district level. So this something is all combining and joining and very beautifully doing a jugalbandi now, that the thing is that everything will be thought of as now data sets, and we should now understand the importance of the data sets. There's a Indian data sets program going on, and there's the Niti Aayog's National Data Analytics program. So everything now combines somewhere, and each and every ministry has some say and some focus and some job at hand, which it must focus on. So whether we use the traditional data methods of collecting data, or you use the new data, everything would be in focus. And we want that these data sets, how that the quality, if we focus on the frameworks, that data sets now should be taught to all of us as a police officers. And when I say police officers, they are not less than 3 million police person in field today, both at the central and the state organizations. So it to be 2.6 million to be precise. So once your target, if you want to see, our collaboration can help this 2.6 million at one go. What we want from this August gathering is to collaborate on see and how the data sets are collected, how they are used, how they are given to academia, how they are given to researchers, how they are given to startups, and then we move ahead at a correct speed and at the correct thought process. So this is an article I wrote in the Hindustan Times, and where I talked about the Niti Aayog's National Data Analytics Program, and APIs will be the talk of the future. Everybody will want that, give me data as an API. So here is the key and the lock where we have to apply that. And the API inventories, the quality of those, this will go directly into the National Data Governance Policies India Datasets program. Every ministry will have to set up a data management unit. Ministry of Home Affairs are already started the work on data management unit, and BPRND is spearheading that along with MITI. And I think similar exercises must be going in the other ministries as well. So this is where we must hold each other's hand. Thank you so much for inviting me here and giving this me August gathering. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing your insights on capacity building collaboration in data collating ecosystem law enforcement perspective. Sir, the lemon theory of market discussed by you is really crucial for us to understand, and we'll definitely work for a better future. Thank you once again, sir. Now moving forward with the session, we have representative officers from 2007, 2008, and 2009 batches of Indian Statistical Service to share their experiences of old good days of trainings. So for this, I would like to welcome Dr. A.K. Panigrahi, Director, sir. He is an ISS officer of 2007 batch of Indian Statistical Service. Sir is currently holding the position of Director at Enterprise Survey Division, National Statistical Office, MoSPI, Calcutta. Sir has been awarded PhD degree from Institute of Social and Economic Change, Bangalore, under the University of Mysore. He has 18 years of working experience on official statistics, which include annual survey of industries, data processing, report writing, trade statistics, etc. His research papers on industry-related issues have been published in various peer-reviewed journals. So please enrich us with your experience.
Thank you. Respected Professor Rajiv Lakshman Karandikar sir, Chairman NSC, Shri Adil Jomel Bhai, Chairman CBC, Dr. Saurabh Gar sir, IS Secretary MoSPI, and all DGs and ADGs and other dignitaries and esteemed guests and ladies and gentlemen. A very good evening to all of you. It is an honor to stand before you today as a representative of ISS 2007 batch and the first batch of NSSTA on this special occasion, the 17th Foundation Day of the National Statistical Systems Training Division, erstwhile NASA, National Academy for Statistical Administration. Today, as we celebrate 17 years of excellence, I feel privileged to share my journey and experience as a trainee at these esteemed institutions. Joining NSSTA has been a transformative experience, one that has deepened my understanding of statistics, governance, and policy applications. From the very first day, we were introduced to an environment of rigorous learning guided by distinguished officers, faculty members, and experts. And we have lots of experience, so I will summarize just 2-3 experiences I will share here, all of you. So we have joined ISS on 4th February 2008 at Sardar Patel Bhavan, MoSPI, New Delhi. During 2008, the training division was at 8th floor of Jivan Prakash building, KG Mark, New Delhi. The major challenges during that time was where to stay and commute to office. And during that time, we had informed that NSSTA had already been built and the training division may be shifted at any time. One day, training division had arranged a bus to visit NSSTA campus along with one escort officer. For that visit, we have reached at Parichok, and after little bit confusion and about direction and route, finally we reached NSSTA campus. And during that time, only few security guards are in charge of this campus, and only Golgatia University and Expo Mart are in the Knowledge Park too, and nothing was here. And during that time, one task had been assigned to our batch for designing NSSTA logo. What you have seen this today, this logo right side, all of my batchmates had submitted their proposal for the NSSTA logo, and finally this logo of NSSTA had been accepted and approved by the competent authority, which was designed by one of my batchmates. On this day, that is 13th February 2009, finally NSSTA inauguration was happened, and all of our batchmates were allocated to work as protocol officer to welcoming dignitaries for this occasion. Finally, around June or July 2009, one office order have been circulated in which all the probationer of ISS 2000 batch had to stay in the campus compulsorily. Just we were waiting for that moment and finally stayed in the hostel campus happily. After few days, ISS 2008 batch had joined in this campus. Though there are issues such as security, transportation, medical facility, quality of food in canteen, internet, computer facility, and mosquito as well, but everything had managed slowly. This NSSTA is the identity of our service. Almost all India services had their own academy for training their officers. After completion of foundation training of around 100 days, officers training have to proceed to their own academy for other part of the probationary training. At that time, We have given feedback for gym, yoga, foreign training model, etc., and some of them had already been implemented now. The structured training at NSSTA had not only strengthened my technical proficiency in statistical methods and data analysis, but also broadened my perspective on how statistics plays a crucial role in shaping evidence-based policymaking. Beyond the lectures and hands-on training, NSSTA has been a place of collaboration, discussion, and inspiration. The interaction with experienced officers, guest speakers, and fellow trainees have provided invaluable insights into real-world statistical applications. The exposure to various government data systems, national surveys, and policy frameworks has given me a new appreciation for the critical role that statistics plays in governance. As we celebrate this milestone, it is important to acknowledge the significant contribution of NSSTA in building a robust statistical system for India. It has been instrumental in training professionals who contribute to national and international statistical frameworks, ensuring data-driven decision-making at various levels. In conclusion, I extend my best wishes to NSSTA for many more years of excellence and impactful training. May it continue to be the beacon of statistical education and capacity building in India. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for sharing your experience of this incredible training that you had. So surely NSSTA carries this legacy of training its wonderful officers beautifully. Now I would like to welcome Shri Shailesh Kumar sir. Sir is an ISS officer of 2008 batch. Sir is currently posted as Director Finance and IEC in Ministry of Rural Development, and he belongs to 2008 batch of Indian Statistical Service. Sir is taking the responsibility of examining the policy formulation from financial perspectives and release of funds. So please share your valuable sites with us. I welcome you.
Thank you. So, respected dignitaries on the dais and of the dais. So, I think I'll not keep it, though I have written two-page speech, but maybe I'll not go through line by line of the speech. I'll try to keep it simple and straight in the form of sharing the experience and journey of the academy which I have gone through. So, first I would like to share that though, as Panigrahi sir said that they are the first batch to enter the academy, so I think they had very partial period in the academy, I think 6 to 7 months, but we are the first batch to start our probation in the academy. So this debate of the first batch will go on. So sir, when I joined the service in 2009, my joining was in the month of June, and joining happened in the Sardar Patel Bhavan, and after the joining, we were taken to this place all through this new expressway. We first time experienced the expressway, and this endless journey, no greenery, nothing, all, I mean, it's a dried area. So when we came here, so after landing, we were little sad that after coming from North Campus of Delhi University, the area was little, we were sad that what to do here. So anyway, this academy kept us engaged, and in the free time we also explored. We explored the surroundings. Slowly we discovered the nearby places, neighboring markets, Jagat Farm, Ansal Plaza. Ansal Plaza से तो थोड़ी हमारी ज़्यादा ही दोस्ती हो गई थी, because our batch was a very small batch of 7 officers, sir. उसमें से भी लगभग 5 लोग वीकेंड पे घर चले जाते थे होम सिकनेस में. तो अंसल प्लाजा में हमारा हर वीकेंड का वो मूवी थिएटर था, उसमें वीकेंड का टिकट बुक रहता था, हमने पैकेज ही ले लिया था. So we discovered the nearby places, though those were very less, but उसी में हमने काफ़ी बार discover की. उसके बाद फिर ये जो transition था हमारा कि coming from the student life and transition from the student life to well-disciplined officers, that was not a very easy task, especially for like democrated and liberated students of Delhi University like me. So that was, I mean, binding, controlling was little difficult, but our seniors, faculty members, senior officers, especially Swapna Bhattacharya ma'am, I remember, she was very strict. तो उनके strictness और HOD थे Malik sir and our then HOD DDG sir KD Mathi sir. So DDG sir, so they all trained us well. They taught us rules, regulation, discipline, along with the etiquettes, office decorum. And in return, we had to develop new habits of morning activities, day classes, and evening sports. And झूठ बोले तो रात में पढ़ना भी, book reading. So these were the tasks. After coming to the academy, we learned that from our senior batches, as Panigrahi sir said, that how difficult was life outside the academy or without academy. Our all seniors must have experienced that, sir, that they used to attend the training classes in the Jeevan Prakash building and used to stay in the at different places in Delhi on rent. So once they are going for a training at some other places, attachment for 2 months, 3 months, they had to vacate the place. And again coming to Delhi and search for the new place for the rental or continue the place of the rental. So that was little difficult, which this training academy really served in a good way. And it was not just about the shelter, it also created a bonding among the different batches at the same time. At a time, approximately 2-3 batches goes on the training. So when I was here, I could interact with our seniors 2007 batch, our junior 2009 batch, 10 batch. So we could have the interaction and develop the bonding within the service as we do it during the foundation course between the service. So this training academy helped us a lot in that way. Sir, we were also lucky enough to join the service after 6th pay commission. So we got entitlement for traveling by the flight. So all our the hurdles of booking the train tickets and getting it confirmed in the last moment that were not with us. So we were lucky to join after this 6th pay commission. And among the training program, we come to the technical part. So among the training program, foundation course was a great experience, and we all must go through it. And during the COVID period, some batches had missed it, so it's a great experience of going to the foundation course. And foundation course, other than the statistics, we learned many subjects, public administration, law. So this, sir, up. So information technology, banking system, rural development, many things we learned, and we also visited the field and saw the implementation of the programs in the field through the village visit, through the trekking. So we learned a lot during the probation period, and we enjoyed a lot also during the probation period. And coming to the today's scenario of the statistics, this rapid change is happening in the world of technology. So as sir mentioned about the technological change and adoption and the speed to improve the data quality, etc., we really need to learn on those things like artificial intelligence, machine learning, big data analysis, and MIS-based implementation and monitoring of the schemes. Ministry of Rural Development is actually doing a lot of things out of these, like MIS-based implementation of the schemes. We are not just collecting the data, we are generating the data through the transaction. Like under Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, if we see, the sanction of the house is done through the MIS, and once the house is sanctioned, that data is generated to our system. So that generating the data through live transaction is really adoption of the new way of adoption of the technology. And Gati Shakti, we can say, Gati Shakti is one of the very good example of use of technology to bring all the infrastructure projects in convergence for implementation. So these are the examples, but there are some challenges like data safety, security, and especially one more thing, interdisciplinary knowledge. When we are getting posted to Department of Biotechnology, we need to learn the subject of that department. If we are posted to Department of Health, we need to learn the subject of that department. So, take 1 minute, sir. So these are some of the challenges which we need to learn, and of course this academy has played and will play the crucial role in that under the leadership of Tomar sir, जो कि time भी बता रहे हैं साथ में. So I consider this training academy a very important place with the very high responsibility to groom officers to make them all kind of, make them to face all kind of situation in their professional life. And with this, I would conclude my experience sharing. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing your interesting experience with us. And sir, we probationers of 2024 batch also feel highly delighted to be the part of this academy. Now I would like to welcome Shri Sarbeshwar Majhi sir. Sir is an ISS officer of 2009 batch and currently posted as director at NSSO FOD headquarters. So we welcome you to share your experience with us.
Respected Secretary MoSPI, Dr. Saurav Garg sir, DG Central Statistics, Santoshi sir, DG Data Governance, Mesram sir, retired DG sir, ADGs and DDGs of MoSPI and other ministries and departments of Government of India, respected Amarjit Sinha sir, and Sonal De Madam, and Dr. Amandeep sir. My dear colleagues of Indian Statistical Service and other officers present here, a very good evening to all. It's a great pleasure and honor for me to be present here at my alma mater, NSSTA, after a long time for the celebration of its 17th Foundation Day. I thank NSSTA for inviting me, for sharing my training experience and way forward. I joined this academy in early 2010 when it was fully functional, unlike 2008 and 7 batches. And training modules were meticulously planned to cater to the needs of that period for a newly joined ISS officer. We had also foundation course along with the other civil service officers that really enlightened more insights on understanding governance of the country, which is very generic in nature. Besides, special training on economics, there are ample modules of statistical applications in the areas of socio-economic development, surveys, administrative statistics, and information technology. Out of all the training modules, I found that state statistical strengthening project, I think currently, I don't know whether it is in bug, is of more important one, and so as a district attachment, though it was comparatively less emphasized that time. I'm not aware of the current status, as I said, but the district level attachment should be one of the most crucial parts of the training on a federal setup in order to understand the data sets available at a district and below level, and to understand feasibility and requirement of taking up surveys and making use of existing ones by learning and exploring varieties of data availability which can ultimately be analyzed meaningfully for public policy, and therefore the district attachment period at the probation period could be adequate and more extensive for better exposure during probation. Particularly this one I suggest from my own experience during Viksit Bharat campaign, and also I was a part of the 2047 Vision core group, in which working in tandem with the district officials and union government, various facets, understanding the various facets of governance in monitoring parameters of the national development. Nonetheless, I observed many things which can be improved further on. Since last many years, NSSTA has expanded the horizons of capacity building and training avenues, also introduced training beyond domains. I appreciate for the same. Presently, most of the training needs are linked to technology, data, and innovation. For innovation and available data, we need a sound capacity building, maybe with the support of international best practices. Like recently, World Bank has started a government data analytics project that emphasizes data analytics at national level. As a way forward for NSSA on the NSSTA may explore on a similar fashion possibilities to train the manpower at the state and district level official for analytics at a district and state level as part of the capacity building of statistical personnel in the country with requisite quality and standards. Further, being a premier statistical training institution of the nation, NSSTA is having a fantastic physical as well as manpower infrastructure at national level. Recently, we see more visibility in social media, other platforms as well. Numerous MOUs are being signed with academics, state DS, hopefully research and development activities also undertaken simultaneously and appropriately. I would like to highlight that in order to move further in this direction, we can have international collaboration in addition to the existing ones, particularly with JICA, World Bank, IMF, SARCHAC in capacity building for both ISS probationers as well as for in-service officers. Moreover, I would also like to suggest that while comparing with other apex training institutions of the country, to showcase the activities of NSSTA and to accelerate towards more visibility of NSSTA, we essentially need to put in place an independent website for NSSTA. Lastly, I would suggest that in the age of artificial intelligence, currently the role of statistics will be multiplied with the technological integration. NSSTA may take the challenges for requisite capacity building and training on the workup of governance through AI. I congratulate every member of Indian Statistical Service on the Foundation Day of our alma mater, NSSTA, and also wish everyone for a dedicated and committed public service at our respective positions and contributing to national development. Thank you all. Jai Hind.
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing your experience. I would like to thank all the reputed dignitaries who shared their experience with us. This will definitely help us to become the competent statistical administrators in futures. Now I would request Secretary Sir, DG Sir, ADG Sir, and other respected dignitaries to please join the speakers for the group photographs. So please. Thank you, everyone. Now we'll disperse for a little break and we'll shortly assemble for the cultural events. Thank you all.